Hello and welcome to another edition of It's Just Our Opinion. Today we have a spectator with us. It's going to be watching in. He don't want to be interviewed. This is not a candidate for any office. This is our grandson Trip. Trip, welcome to the show. I know you're wondering where was we at last week. We didn't do a show last week. We took off down to Navarre to check on our little granddaughter, Izzy Grace. She lives in Navarre, Florida, and we went down and spent the weekend and just played with her and laughed. And she didn't laugh. She done a lot of grinning though, and so we had fun there. We decided we wouldn't do a show last week. We needed off time too, and so. But now we're back. Now we're back, and I know you're wondering why are we outside. Well, we love spring. You know, we into this daylight savings time, and we got more time outside, and we love the fresh air. You know, me and my wife, we both love spring. That's probably our best time of the year. It's not too hot, it's not too cold. You know, when you get on up in there in July and August, it's so hot that it's hard to stay outside. But this time of year, you know, it's just great. Was listening to the news a few minutes ago, and the weatherman said we might actually have 80 degrees tomorrow. What do you think about 80 degrees? That's pretty good, ain't it? As we've had all of this rain, I know all over the state we've had so much rain. You can't walk anywhere without sloshing. And so, you know, we just love when it's not raining, but we need the rain. But now the rain and all this warm weather is going to make our grass grow. So the cows are going to have plenty of grass to eat. Now we're one of the fortunate farmers throughout the Alabama, probably that one of the few that's probably still got a lot of hay left. I believe we've probably got over 20 bales of hay left that we didn't have to feed because, you know, all this warm weather that we've been having, the grass has been coming up. Well, you know, the cows love hay, but they had rather eat the grass. The grass just tastes better. I've never really tried the hay. Now, I've chewed on a piece of grass or two. I'm sure you have too, but I've never eat hay. So I don't know. I bet the grass tastes better. So, but the cows seem to love it. They just roam all over. You know, we don't have a big farm here. We got 25 acres. We got 27 head of cattle. And so they just kind of roam all over and finding the grass is starting to shoot up in different spots. And you can see behind us, it's pretty green already too. And you know, if it gets 80 like the weatherman said, that grass gonna shoot on up. Them cows gonna have plenty of grass to eat. And you know, that's what it's all about. That's spring. That's why I love this time of year. Get out and walk. I love to walk the pastures, and I try to do it at least once a week anyway, and check the fence and make sure. Trip here helps a lot. He loves to do that too, and make sure there's no limbs on the fence and all that. But you know, it's not as exciting to do that when it's cold. When there's ice on the ground, it's not that exciting, is it? But this time of year is good. And so, you know, I actually got out this morning and walked around and found I had to work on the fence some. And so, you know, I got it going again. And I think you've been working on the fence this afternoon some. And you know, when you have a farm, there's always something to do. Now, like I say, we got the cows here behind us, and of course several of them belongs to Trip here, and all of our cows have names. You know, my wife, she loves to name cows, and I know you've named all of yours. And
I can barely remember.
Barely remember because he's getting so many. He's the cow farmer here. He just keeps getting cows and cows, and you know, has some beautiful calves, and got some more. I think you expect another one here in a few months. So it won't be long, he'll be having another one. But all of our cows have names, and so when we walk out, you know, they see us, they start hollering. I'm sure you can hear them hollering in the background. You know, they're not really a close family. They're kind of like our extended family because we like our cows. We like to feed them. We like to pet them. Now, all of them don't like to be petted. I know some of yours, you don't want you to touch them at all. And some of ours don't either. We got this beautiful big old Hereford bull with a fuzzy head. Now, my wife just thinks the world of his little fuzzy head and stuff. But he don't like to be touched. He don't like you to touch him at all. His name's Jack. And so, but he's pretty, and hoping to get some pretty calves out of him this summer. I'm thinking we're going to get some pretty ones out of him. And you know, and who knows? Like I say, we got 27 now. We have 5, 6, 7 calves. You know, we'll just keep growing this big farm of ours here. And so, You know, we, along with the cows, the 27 cows, we got 12 chickens. Starting to get some eggs. Now, 4 of them's roosters. We're never gonna get an egg out of that rooster. No, not the first one. But those 8 chickens are starting to lay, and that's another sign of spring. You know, it's just a great time of year. I mean, I can't think of anything bad about spring. Nothing at all. I mean, it's a great time of year. The flowers start coming up, the trees start blooming. You know, we'll have leaves everywhere. Now, you know what, maybe there is something bad about spring, because that's about the time you have to start mowing. And you know, we don't want to do a lot of mowing. I don't like to mow. Now, we've been real fortunate here at our house. Trip here and his brother, they love to come over and mow and weed eat, and so they don't do it for free. We give you a little bit, don't you? We get a little money there on it, but it's still better than us having to do it. And it gives them a little side money on for them to buy things with.
Stuff for us to do.
And stuff for you to do to stay busy. You know, I used to love to mow. At one time, it's probably been 10 years ago, my wife and I, we went down to Sears and bought matching mowers, riding mowers. We had matching ones, and we just mowed all the time. We got out and mow, but you know, that kind of, the new kind of wore off of that after about a year, and then it'd just be me down mowing. And every now and then she'd jump out there and help me though, if we got too high or we got busy. But that, you know, we just kind of hadn't mowed in a while now. We just kind of let y'all do it. And that helps us out a whole lot when y'all do it. So, but you know, there again, like I say, if you see our cows in the background, I know they'd like to come up and be interviewed too, but we're not going to do that. But let me say this, like I say, we was off last week. You know, we've had a lot happen since then. We had the primary elections, you know, coming up with March 31st. We'll have the Senate runoff between Coach Tuberville and Jeff Sessions. And let me say, both candidates have been invited on the show. If you remember, week before last, Coach Tuberville come on and we interviewed him about his ideas and his plans. And like I say, Jeff Sessions never responded, but if we want you to know, we never endorse candidates. We invite all the candidates to come, and we're going to do the same during this runoff. We're going to reach out to both candidates. You know, Coach Tuberville said he'd love to come back on, and one of the things about Coach Tuberville's interview week before last was that was the most watched interview that we've had since we started the show in July of 2019. Around 7,400 people watched that show. That's the most of any show that we've had, and so it kind of showed in the election returns, because he was well ahead of all the other candidates when the votes come in that night. And of course, like I say, he's in a runoff with Jeff Sessions, so we'll see how that turns out. You know, it's going to be interesting. March 31st to be here before you know it, and we're going to know who the Republican candidate is for the Senate to go against the Democrat, Senator Doug Jones. Well, like I say, we're outside again enjoying the fresh air. We hadn't got a whole lot of news that we want to talk about. We just want to stay positive on here. We could talk about the stock market falling, or we could talk about the coronavirus, and you know, we could find all kind of bad stuff to talk about. But we don't like bad stuff, do we, Trip? We like good stuff, and that's what we try to do on this show, is talk about good stuff, things that you'll enjoy and we'll enjoy, and something you may want to share with your neighbors and stuff. So anyway, you know, we've said a few things here, and we really hadn't give a whole lot of details on anything, but let me tell you this, man, everything we said is just our opinion. Thank you.